Hey, good morning guys, this is Eric with Big Bass Small Creek. Today I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that's in my tackle box and what we use. Kind of just show you our setup, show you that you don't have to have the best tackle. It always helps to have really good tackle, but I would tell you the most important thing is your reel and the knot that you tie with your lure. So today we'll kind of go over a couple things. So here is the ultralight urban pack made by Plano. You can pick this up at your local sports store for about $14.99. Helps out tremendously if you're not looking to go onto a boat or anything like that. So go ahead and open it up. So in our front pocket allows you to put a traditional Plano small tackle box here. So in our first tackle box, this is my main tackle box here. As you can see, there's not even a whole lot in there, but I'll show you some of the stuff that we use. A must for any bass fisherman, of course, is going to be a frog. Right here, this is the Strike King weedless frog. Very good. It even has a snap on the bottom. You can pick this up at your local sports store, Walmart, whatever you got close by, for about 10 bucks. Made by Strike King. Really good lure right here. It's a top water, got real good action. The legs are very realistic to it. I recommend this frog for all bass fishermen right here. So moving on, set that to the side. I'll give you some close-ups too, but we'll kind of just go over it. All-time favorite though, and John, my brother, the founder of Big Bass Small Creek, will tell you that this lure has caught a mini fish here. This is the Rapala flat wrap. This is a shallow diving lure. It goes to about 1 to 2 feet underneath the surface of the water. So if the bass aren't biting in a daytime situation at the top, you may want to throw a sinking lure on, but if you notice you don't get any bites on that, this Rapala is just deadly because the depth to it. Again, we used a mustard muddler. It resembles like a baby carp, a squawfish, or what they call a pike minnow. And bass fish are very territorial when it comes to those fish. So move on to our next one. Next one, again, is going to be a Rapala deep diver right here. I'm going to go with the baby salmon, baby shad kind of color. It's just a black and silver shiner. This one is a deep diver sinker. A little bit smaller too, so if you're not catching a lot of big fish, this will really help you catch any fish, because there's a difference between fishing and catching. Obviously we want to be catching while we're fishing. So yeah, that's my crankbait and my frogs. But I will tell you right now, this lure, again, my favorite company is Strike King. Best prices on everything. Is the all white Strike King spinnerbait right here. This is the mini Strike King, since we target ultralight fishing in the creeks. Here in California, we don't have a lot of good waterways that hold up a lot of big bass, at least in Northern California. So all white Strike King. So yeah, this one you can control the action of the spinner itself, depending on how fast or slow you retrieve it. Most effective on a very continuous slow retrieve. So I have that in a variety of colors. The all white one though is definitely the one. Then I have a kind of spin off on the white one. Looks very similar to it, but this one is actually clear for the dressing with a silver shining head with the red eye. So it kind of gives it like a baby shad look, but the red just really makes the bass aggressive. Another thing is the hooks that Strike King use are just extremely sharp hooks, and if you don't have a sharp hook, when the bass hits it, you're not going to hook up with them. So there's my second color I like to roll with. And then my third pick is the chartreuse with clear and blue right here. So really cool lure. And not a lot of glitter in it, so I like Strike King. We use the mini Strike Kings most of the time, at least I do, because I target 1 to 2 pound bass, because that's what we have in the creeks that we fish in. If we used anything else, you're probably just going to go a whole day of fishing. You can move down to deep water all you want, but I know from experience, from fishing since I was 4 years old, that in Sacramento, California, and the surrounding areas, we don't live in Sacramento necessarily, but in the surrounding areas of Northern California, from the capital to the Bay Area, unless you have a boat or you're fishing in the deltas or the river, which I don't have a boat yet. I mean, again, I like being an ultralight fisherman. A lot of people, don't have the patience to run with ultralight fishing because you don't catch a lot of big fish. So we have, again, another Strike King. So move on from that. That's going to be my crankbait, spinnerbait, topwater type stuff that I like to use. Let me just go to my pack again. What's really cool is in the pack you can keep there's a little pocket for your trout bait. I mean, for those days you just want to sit there and be lazy and not do anything, which is very seldom for me. We hike about 10 miles every time we go fishing. But moving into the pack, we have some power bait right here. Berkley Advantage. These right here are, like really good. They kind of hit the head off the bottom. They're weighted. They cast very well. I'm gonna give you guys some close-ups of all the stuff we're using. So this thing, I've caught a bunch of nice bass on this. It looks kind of like a baby sunfish. So if you got a lot of sunfish held up where your bass are at, this is definitely gonna be very effective. They're called the Real Sticks. Then, I have the Havocs right here, baby shad. These are really nice. I'm going to go and pull one out and give you a better look at it. But yeah, you can use a lead head jig on that. The action on the tail is just really nice, and I think it just aggresses the bass into going ahead and just hitting that, man. And you can run these at the bottom, or you can run them at a mid-level, kind of like a spinner, because the tail is like a spinnerbait. And the silver for me is a big thing because we have shad run through in the summertime, and the bass just tear them up the whole time the shad are running. So moving on, let me go into my next pack. I always keep some 12-pound tests. This is for my heavy line right here. With my ultralight setup, I don't carry it because I have plenty of line on the reel, and I'm going to go over those with you as well. But just kind of show you what you need to stay with. And none of this stuff is expensive. I mean, you're looking at about $3 for the spinnerbaits from Strike King, $10 for the frog. I don't plan on losing it for a while, and I'd rather go swim for my lure than lose $10. But my next pack here, they're all gone, but I'm sure everybody's a big fan of these. I got Robo Worm here. The salt plastic technology that they use is just great, and this is a California-based company. I have some more. This is just an empty package. I was literally having spotted bass eat the whole worm off of my hook, hitting it so hard. So go ahead and put that off to the side. In my next pocket here, this is when we're going to get into the soft plastics again. Kind of go into it. I got the Zoom flank tails, baby shad. These are great, man. Sunfish just eat these things up. It just looks like a little bait fish, really good action on the tail underwater. It just works good. Also, my girlfriend is a big fan of these. She caught her first bass ever on one of these, so I was really proud of her too. And it was the first day we bought them and tried them, and I let her try them because I'm stubborn. I like to stick to my ways. But she proved that you can use those and have a very effective day. Now, on the odd occasion, you don't want to lug around catfish liver or put your hands into catfish bait. If you put on raw meat, chicken liver, there's salmonella that you can get from that. So be sure to carry some hand sanitizer. I'm not saying that you'll get it or you need to use hand sanitizer. Just a recommendation for health and safety reasons. But I use artificial catfish bait. These have been pretty effective for me. I've actually caught different types of fish on this, including bass and bluegill have hit this as well. So soft plastics, catfish stuff. I can't roll around with anything like this. Now this right here is a spin-off of the smaller Zoom bait that I showed you. But this is the baby bass coloring on here. A little bit bigger too. I've had this out at the lake before, just jigging it off the bottom and just hooked up with a massive bass with it. But I was not using a Gamakatsu size 1 hook like I should have been. I was using I think it was a South Bend, and I mean, he jumped one good time and just came right off the hook. But I've caught some really big fish on this, few and far between though, but the baby bass flank tail really works good. So I'll put that over here with the rest of our stuff. Moving on. Aha, my lucky ticket to catching all the bass in the world, my Robo Worms. This Robo Worm right here is a green and natural brown color, so very, very effective for clear to somewhat murky water. I mean, Robo Worm makes a huge variety of these things in all the colors you could imagine. Another favorite for me is the blue and white silver watermelon. It's a red and green one. I've seen my buddies just nail fish after fish. Blue and natural brown. All those, we go with a lot of natural brown because we have a lot of worms in our creekways and the fish just feed on those. But these things right here, Robo Worm, all the way, man. This is, I'm religious to these things like I'm religious to my Strike Kings. So, last but not least, I have some of these river to sea baby crawdads. They come preset for you, so you just tie the hook and throw them. You know, if you hook up with something on one of these, man, you are going to have a good fish on the other end. But yeah, you can check out, it looks really good. You know, if you know what crayfish crawdads look like, when they move, they go in a backwards motion and they kind of skirt and stop. So you use that technique when you're fishing with these, and if there's any big bass around, they're definitely going to go for it. So then I'm going to go to what's actually, before I give you a close-up of everything we're looking at right here. Again, here's our pack. I'm just going to set that off to the side now. So I'm going to grab my reel for you. This is my, I have 2 setups here. I don't carry 5 different poles. I don't need 5 different poles. You know, a lot of people think fishing is about the gear you have. Well, I mean, and yeah, obviously your lures are a big thing. But I'm going to show you guys at home that may not have the best job or have a lot of income, where your resources are just limited because you have kids and you pay bills or whatever your situation is. But this right here is the Flueger Micro Spin Ultralight Urban Assault Reel. I made that name up for it, but no, it is a Flueger Micro Spin. It is a 5-ball bearing system with a wooden handle, a iodized spool for nice smooth casting. Holds up to 6-pound test at 80 yards. Right now I'm throwing 4-pound test at 120 yards on it. I got this set up for $26.99. I think you can even get them cheaper. You can even get bigger versions depending on how you fish. But I will tell you, man, this thing is muddy. I've had this for about 5 years. I will not stop fishing with it. My buddy, we go out to a lake. You know, you have potential of catching 10-pound fish. And he's like, you really going to use the micro spin? And I tell him, you know, I was raised with ultralight fishing. You know, that's how I roll, man. I like the action of a light pull or a medium pull. The highest I ever go is a medium action most of the time. But obviously I would change my rig depending on what we're fishing for. If we're going to be out there fishing for huge kings out in the river, I'm obviously going to be bringing me something that can land that fish. But again, ultralight is my thing. Bass fishing, this works perfect for any creek scenario. If you smack a 4-pound bass in the creeks that we're at, which I've, you know, maybe caught 2 or 3 in the last 4 years of fishing, I would love for anyone to contest me on that and come out here and try to outfish me in my own homeland and tell me where the big fish are, because, you know, I get a lot of comments on some of the videos we put up and they're real negative. You don't know where we're at, you don't know the water, you don't know how long I've been fishing there, and you know, I gotta tell you right now that it's not as easy as it looks to get these videos that you're watching. So again, we'll move on from all that stuff and go into the pole now. The pole is a, let me get that upright for you. This is a Shimano FX right here. Medium action, holds up to a, you know, 6 to 14-pound test is what it's recommended for. It's 6 foot in length, and again, medium with fast action on it. Really cool pole. It's a 2-piece set, of course. It's a 6-foot pole. Right now I got the Panther Martin all gold. You know, I found this in a tree. Originally I found it in a tree. I was like, why are they using, you know, a trout lure? Because I was very skeptical on using these small spinner baits like this for bass fishing. So I said, you know what, I found it. Most of the time when you find stuff, it's lucky. So I went out, fished with it the same day I found it, smacked bass after bass after bass, and I was like, wow, apparently, you know, Panther Martin spinners, what I would consider a trout lure here in California, are very effective for bass. I would say most of the time, I've never caught a really big bass on it, but I've caught a lot of bass on it. I'd say the biggest I caught is about a 2-pounder on this, and that was out of the creek. And then running, again, Berkley Trilene here too. This Berkley Trilene mono filament line, so it blends in very well. The fish can't see it. Works really well. So you can get this whole setup right here and become your own ultralight urban fishing for about $40, man. So if you're a kid, or you know, you're looking into getting into fishing and you're watching this video right now, $40. Again, that's the Flueger micro spin with the Shimano FX on here. Literally, this pole is $10 pole, man. I don't need anything fancy. I'll go out here and fish later today. Me and my girlfriend are going to go, and I'm going to show you that on this $40 setup that I am going to catch a bunch of fish on it. So moving on from that, not about the price, about the quality for what you pay for it. And I'll tell you right now, Shimano and Flueger offer some very high quality stuff at some very reasonable prices. So move on from that real quick. Now I have more stuff than this, but this is what is in my ultralight pack for when I go fishing, you know. But here's my heavy action right here. You may notice this pole from our return to Camp Far West Lake. I got this, told my brother for my birthday that I wanted some lures, Strike King. So we got the Strike King baby bass lure, deep diving crankbait. Still floats, but it has the action you want, nice rattle to it. Now you wouldn't believe this though. I'm running this with 12-pound Zebco monofilament, and then my girlfriend got me this outdoor adventure reel. The reel was $12.99, guys. $12.99. Holds up to 12-pound test. I got that running on a very inexpensive pole from Shakespeare, the Durango. It is a medium action. It is 6'6", and it can hold 6 to 12-pound line. So with the Western Outdoors reel, I think she got this at Walmart for me and got it price matched at $12.99. The pole is $9.99, so you want a cheap pole. I smacked a 5-pound catfish on this crankbait on the 3rd cast in our previous video, which you can go ahead and watch if you want to while you're here, on a $22 setup. With the line, I mean, it's $2.50 for the Zebco line, which works great. I mean, as much as you lose line. So yeah, so that's my setup, man. So I'm telling you right here, I got maybe $100 invested into this, what you can see. And some people might laugh at that, but you know, I'm laughing all the way to the bank because I can go fishing, have fun, catch a ton of fish, and not break my wallet, you know. So I'm going to move on and give you some more close-ups of the lures we use, mainly the lures because I want you guys to go try these out. If you don't already, Strike King baby bass lure, gold Panther Martin, all gold. Any size weight that you think, any size that you think is going to be appropriate for the environment you're fishing in or the depth of the creek, lake, stream, canal, anything like that. So go ahead and start, give you guys a real quick close-up of this stuff. Alright guys, so we're back to you again. So we're going to really focus in on these key items here. I have the Strike King top water weedless frog, Rapala flat wrap in the mustard muddler, Rapala in the standard silver and black sinking crankbaits here. As you can see, I don't have a ton of crankbaits. There's a couple that are missing because I lost them, but I'll repurchase them. My all-time favorite, I don't care about what style of bait it is, the all-white Strike King. This is the mini Strike King, again targeting the ultralight category. Moving on is a little bit different. This is a clear sparkle with a red eye on it. It stands out a little bit more, but very similar to the all white. And then we have our chartreuse neon and clear with the chartreuse head on it. Very effective. I got this guy. Haven't caught anything on him yet. Maybe I'm just not in the right water yet, but we'll try that out at the lake sometime. Something a little bit bigger. Moving into our plastics. Berkley power bait reel sticks here and the sunfish color. Moving on up, we got the Berkley Havocs with the spinner tail. Moving over to our left, we have the Zoom baby bass, and you can see all the prices on here too. You know, $3.29. Awesome price for that stuff. And then moving in, my girlfriend's favorite one, flank tail baby shad. Awesome bait. Catfish soft plastics to avoid messy containers of catfish liver or cheese. Also the smell of it. These are in a nice little sealable bag. Moving over, River Sea Crawdad. Look at that, man. I would almost eat that if I was a fish, right? It almost makes you think, except I can see that big old hook just ready to hook a fat 4 or 5 pound bass out of nowhere. But my favorite, you guys, all time soft plastic favorite, Robo Worm. #1 for a reason. I mean, I've turned so many people onto this stuff, especially in my area. All my buddies are all big Robo Worm fans now. So really cool to see that Robo Worm's making a stand for themselves here in California, since they're a California-based company. Moving into the pack real quick, just so you guys get a little bit closer up to the pack. I mean, look at this, man. You just grab that, a couple bottles of water, stay hydrated. $14.99, 3-pack Plano, ultralight. Comes with a belt strap, chest strap, however you want to make it. So, quick zoom out. Ultralight assault kit here. Give you a close-up of my Flueger, my pride and joy, my baby. This is like a old hot rod to me now. Look at that. Again with the Shimano FX pole, $9.99. Going on to my newest and latest for my birthday. Western Outdoors for $12.99 with the Shakespeare Durango for $9.99 and a box of bananas in the background because we got them moving. But hey guys, just want to thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully, you know, you guys like it. Post any comments or questions you have down. I have more stuff than this, but I just want to show you guys the more realistic, inexpensive stuff. So again, thanks for watching, guys. And if you have any questions, always feel free to comment. Big Bass Small Creek is family owned and operated. We are very friendly people, so always open for conversation, positive conversation. So if you guys need anything, give us a call or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Big Bass Small Creek. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Nice bass. Get out there and hike for that big dog.